Hello everyone, this is Joe Renkin of KOPN Weather, bringing you a little bit of an update on our weather. I've been really busy with my new job, also spending a lot of more time with my family, so I apologize in that regard. And just showing you here, we're looking at one of the things that the weather community utilizes for forecasting our weather in the future. This is called the Madden-Julian Oscillation, and what it does is it shows the area of the world that experiences thunderstorms along the equator. So as you can see, we have different quadrants is what we call it, and we call this the COD, which is the circle of death, which means that basically anything that any signal that comes within this circle kind of muddies the impact of the specific quadrant. So what we're looking at here is from the Climate Prediction Center. We have multiple different agency forecasts here. The National NCEP, Climate Environmental Protection Center, GEF is this one, and as you can see, this is going into a phase 1. It's really a weak one, but yet still, coming to a phase 1 on the 28th of April is pretty significant because, as I'll show you here, these are the composites for our 3-month periods. And as you can see, phase 1 is a very much cooler than normal time period. Phase 2 gets a little better, but doesn't speak for much. Phase 3, even colder. Phase 4, we see the plains warm up and still cold on the east coast, Appalachia on east. Phase 5, we start to see this warmth returning chances. And phase 6 is what we call a torch. That's just really, really warm for April and May. And the reason why I have it as March, April, May is because it's best to have your current month in the middle of the period. So let's go ahead and check out the month of May. As you can see, the composites really don't change that much. You still have warmth in the plains here on phase 4. A cold pattern is very recognizable, 1 through 3, and you see improvement in 5 and 6 to go warm. So let's go ahead and look at all of the models. This is the National Weather Service's GEFS ensemble system. Again, goes into phase 1. A little bit of a weaker signal on the bias corrected ensemble forecast. This is the operational model, and it basically hangs around phases 1 and 2 all the way up until the 28th of April. Here's the UK Met forecast. It actually goes the opposite direction. It goes into a phase 3. So what that tells me is instead of staying cooler for a longer period of time like the National Weather Service model, as it stays over in phase 1, and so that means essentially that it's going to have to come all the way back through again. Here's the other UK, and if you see here, this is the operational control run, and that's the ensemble system. So the first one is the ensemble, and you can tell also because it's got all of these yellow lines which designates each separate model of the ensemble run. Again, here's the operational. Here's the Canadian ensembles. It goes directly into the circle of death with a couple over to the right, but the trend here, once again, is that it's not going to stay cold as long as the National Weather Service says it is. European model, once again, same thing, goes over to the right instead of the left. Japanese, however, does follow the trend of the American and goes to the left. Taiwan base goes to the left. European multi-ensembles goes all the way into middle of May, as you can see here, and it continues the trend, but look how murky that is with all of the ensembles here. It's basically sending a clear signal that it's going to be a hard forecast if you just go by the MJO. Here's another one of the European ensemble for the medium range. Again, look, just it goes without saying. That's all I have to really say. And the Brazilian model follows the American. So what we have here is we have the American models and the Brazilian going to the left, which means a colder pattern lasting longer, except for the Brazilian goes into phase 8, which, as you just saw, is actually a warm signal for the plains, especially for the northern plains. So that's going to be tough to come by. Let me see here. We've got the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 23. 24 days from today is when it's showing that. So 3 weeks. Let's see here. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Beginning of the May, around the 7th, it's saying that it's going to get warmer. So, you know, there's a chance that the American models could go more towards a phase 8 instead of towards a phase 1. But still, the Brazilian sending a signal that it follows in line with the American and comes over to phase 1. So, you know, the mainstay of this video update is plain and simple. Look for a cool middle and end of April. You know, I'm not saying that we won't get a couple hits of warmth, because, you know, that'd be just plain foolish as to say that we're not going to get it, because it is April, it is spring, and you know, this constant fluctuations back and forth are standard. But as you can see, look at this, sunny with a high of only 62 on Tuesday after all of these storms move through. I don't see anything severe quite yet. So here is the Weather Prediction Center days 3 through 7 forecast, and as you can see, this is just pushing rain, you know, like no other. Day 3, you've got a low front with a a low pressure with a warm front pushing forward, and to its northwest you've got more low pressures, and to the west, trough here with another warm front and trailing cold front behind it. And on day 4, which is this is actually 12 Zulu Monday, or 7 a.m. Monday, so Sunday night, we've got a interesting squall line that will more than likely come through. I can see a lot of hail and strong winds. SPC has introduced a 15% risk, and they talk about it saying that it's in good enough agreement for a slight risk, but that's really all they're saying at this point. And here's that, with that cold front passage, that's going to usher in the cooler weather behind it, and here we've got even a backdoor cold front that comes through. So, and it stalls out, which, you know, supports the MJO at this point, for that matter. And you know, it's going to be an interesting, you know, cool, like I said, a cool April, end of April. Hopefully, you know, after this, even though it's going to be cool, we'll get enough sun to help those morel mushroom hunters. So y'all take it easy and stay tuned.